Hey guys, Trans here, back with another Transformers theory video. And for today's theory, we're going to cover what happened to Drift in Transformers The Last Knight. Now for you guys who don't remember who Drift is, here's a short recap on him. Drift joined the Autobot roster in the fourth installment of the Transformers cinematic universe, Age of Extinction. Once he came down, he scanned a Bugatti Veyron and an attack helicopter, which gave him the ability to become a triple changer. And after that, he made his way with the other Autobots to meet up with the heroic Autobot leader, Optimus Prime. Now Drift would serve as a valuable asset for a team, by helping Bumblebee get to Cade in the KSI break-in, to him helping out in the final battle to save Earth from Galvatron and his evil KSI drones. But when the sequel to Age of Extinction, The Last Knight comes around, Drift became a red and black Mercedes-Benz AMG GTR, for a new look, sporting red instead of his classic blue from Age of Extinction. But sadly, Drift would not transform into a helicopter in this film, since he prefers to only use one sword instead of two. And most people believe the actual answer to why he did not transform into a helicopter was because he left one sword behind in the final battle of Age of Extinction. But this allegation can be debunked since we can clearly see Drift having two swords on him in this shot. So my best judgment on why he would give up one sword and leave behind a Cade's junkyard is because only by carrying one sword it would make Drift become a lot more agile, for example like the time he assassinated Onslaught. By using only one sword it made him a lot more quicker in his movements, along with making him a lot more lighter than he would have been if he carried and used two swords. And though in The Last Knight, he really had a small role, more of a supporting character honestly. And towards the end of the film, we would only see him briefly in the final battle, but we would never see him again for the rest of the movie. So what happened to him exactly? Well, to answer this question, we have to take a look at a few scenes that came before the final battle, and that scene would be the one where Day Trader brings back the Night ship. Here, take a look.
Day Trader, some bitch actually came through with our ship.
Excellent. We are going to England.
Let's go make some noise.
Let's give them hell. I'm driving.
Now after analyzing this clip, we can learn that Day Trader has brought back the Night ship, and that they're gonna fly over to England, where ultimately the final battle takes place. But the biggest part that we can take from this clip is Drift saying "I'm driving," which would imply him being a skilled pilot, and this nugget of information is a lot more important than it seems, and will make Drift the reason why the Autobots would win the final battle in the first place, but I'll cover that in a minute. Now later in Transformers The Last Knight, we can see Drift, Hound, Crossers, and Izzy unloaded from the ship, while Day Trader would be left on the ship to watch over the autopilot controls. And later after their reunion with Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, Drift would redirect the soldiers to load up their Ospreys into the Night ship, since those aircraft could only go at a max altitude of 20,000 feet in the air, and because Cybertron at the time was way up in Earth's atmosphere, exceeding that 20,000 limit, the Night ship would be able to drop them from a much higher altitude so they could glide all the way to Cybertron's surface. Drift would also load up the Guardian Knights so they could transform into Dragonstorm to help escort the Ospreys all the way to Cybertron and to fight off enemy fighter ships. And lastly, Drift would also load up all the other remaining Autobots that were present, so for them too could also be loaded on their own mini fighters. And once everybody was loaded, Drift took off so they could bring the battle to Cybertron. And after that scene of Drift directing Bumblebee to his mini fighter, he was not seen again, not even for Optimus Prime's ending speech. Now most people, including myself, thought this was lazy writing, since all the participants from the final battle, minus the Knights and some military personnel, were at Prime's speech. But the answer to where Drift was at the time was legitimately staring us right in our faces, and here is why. Like I said before, the last shot that we saw Drift in was him commanding Bumblebee to go to his mini fighter and wishing him good luck. And since Drift is the pilot of the Night ship, he would have to maneuver it the whole time until he'd be able to land the ship for good. Now remember how I said that the answer was staring us right in our faces? Well, during Optimus Prime's speech, we can see one thing that's behind him, and that thing is the Night ship. Now you may be saying, Trans, the ship is just on park, and Drift should have been able to make it to Optimus Prime's speech. Well, young theorists, there's only one issue with that theory, and that would be the very next scene right after. After the Optimus Prime speech, we can see Bumblebee, Hound, Hot Rod, and Crossers make their way to the Night ship to get loaded on. And Drift could possibly not be in two places at once if you had to open the hatch door for them, so they could be loaded on. And to further back up this, in the last shot of TLK, we saw the Night ship make a complex maneuver into Cybertron, which only a skilled pilot like Drift could pull off. And remember when I said, since Drift was a skilled pilot, it led the Autobots to victory in saving Earth once more? Well, since he let the Ospreys onto the Night ship, it would allow the Autobots to have a lot of advantage over all of Megatron's army, and will let the soldiers to be able to blaze one of the support beams on Cybertron that would make the ignition chamber go crashing down, leading to Vivian to be able to grab the staff and shutting down the energy transfer to Earth, saving the whole planet, and for Drift to also let the Guardian Knights on board so they could form the mighty Dragonstorm to escort and protect most of the Ospreys to safety. And all because of his quick thinking skills and being an overall fantastic pilot, led the Autobots to victory in the long run. And I bet that all of you believe that Drift was really an underused character, and was more or less a forgettable one too. But because of watching this, I hope you guys learned how important Drift actually was in Bay's Transformers cinematic universe. And now by just looking at the script, it makes TLK seem like a bit of a masterpiece. But this video is only one puzzle piece in a new series that I'm calling Fixing Transformers, where I take a look at something that looks like a continuity error, dust it off so people will be able to see the bigger picture that Michael Bay's universe is actually not that bad. Well, that's over for the first episode of Fixing Transformers. If you'd like to see more of this series, please leave a like below and a comment saying if I should continue it or not, along with any other continuity errors that you believe I should fix. As always, it's been Trans Theories, also known as Jason, reminding you to always keep on theorizing.
Well, you call it the grill.